Hello friends, family, and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a best of 3 from the GSL qualifiers. This time we have the qualifier match that was played between, in the bottom right spawning as our red Protoss player, Classic. And in the top left as our blue Protoss, playing for DKZ Gaming, is going to be herO. Exciting little match, in my opinion, the two best Protoss players currently in Korea. Now, perhaps Creator would want, you know, a spot on the table as well. A seat at the table, because in the most recent DreamHack Summer he did manage to take out herO. He really performed okay-ish in that tournament. Classic had the best performance out of everyone. But I still often feel like that herO and Classic are just slightly better than Creator. A little bit more, just a bit more solid. And I could be wrong about that. Now, first Zealot here is on the... Ooh! Classic gets the Nexus down. This is such a big deal. This is actually a really big deal in this matchup. If you can cancel the Zealot to throw down the Nexus, actually herO can also do it. But instead he's gonna send it across the map and go for the battery rush. Wow. I think this used to be really good back in the day, what herO is doing here. But I feel like nowadays, I don't think it's actually that great. I really don't think it's great. I like that we see the pylon cancel. There's a chrono boost on that Stalker. And the Nexus gets created. Neither player actually opening up with a Stargate here. herO played this with a single gas all the way through. He's probably going to follow it up with some type of a 3-gate aggression. Now, as long as Classic doesn't have a Stargate, I don't think it's normal for him to die. Like, he has a ramp. This all-in is going to hit relatively late. There's 3 gates going. This is a 4-gate. herO legit, this is such a weird build. herO's going to be 4-gating, but that's going to be scouted. Look at this Adept. There's no probe here in the wall for whatever reason. Adept sees the lack of a Nexus, but it saw that it was built before, so immediately spots that something was cancelled. I would not recommend getting a Stargate here. I would not recommend that whatsoever. A full wall, that is what you want right now. What is this Stalker doing? As the Zealot makes his way across the map, batteries? How is he chrono boosting his Nexus here? How is this the response? We get battery number 1. I think a full wall is the least you can do at this point. Fort should be thrown down immediately as well. Here comes the Zealot in towards the main base. Let's take a look at this micro here out of Classic. Loses no probe so far. Okay, this was good. Rest of the probes can go back into mining as... this battery is about to finish up, but Void Ray needs to be constructed ASAP here. Chrono gets used. That means that there's no energy currently available for a super battery. This initial battery is going to be in a little bit of trouble as well. I think it might just get targeted down here. herO feels like he can get it. Will lose one Stalker. Loses half the HP of another Stalker as well. The second Stalker will now fall. This Void Ray is so far away. This is why you need a full wall, so that these type of move-ins can't end up happening. No second battery. Extremely greedy as well. I still believe that Classic might be fine, because honestly, herO's build is freaking garbage. And now is inside of the base with 4 Stalkers. Will not be capable of taking out this Void Raiders. I don't think there's enough DPS. Yeah, Classic just has too much damage output. Will not lose his Void Ray. And now there's 3 Adepts in here. 4 Adepts in here, my apologies. Void Ray will start working on it. Full wall here with the pylon. 22 workers to 33. That means that 11 workers can go down. Then the eco will still be favorable for Classic. And every single unit that will end up falling here, I mean, that's just going to be a very, very good situation for Classic. Can move a probe into this location to block, will not quite do it, as the Twilight Council will be herO's follow-up. 5 Adepts will need to finish their shade in here and should target down as many probes as they can. But even if they get 13 probes at this point, I still believe that Classic is losing, well, pretty hard, honestly. Try to shade out. It's going to go in towards the natural where there's 2 probes. Should be, well, actually, with just a single probe and a battery available, it's going to be capable of getting none right here. 2 more Adepts will try and shade in, as once again, Classic. Okay, this time he's going to be ready, so that's nice at least. Adept makes his way in towards the main base, but dies before the shade ends up finishing up. And now we're in a situation where there's 2 Void Rays, 3 Stalkers against 2 Adepts. Classic also has 10 more probes. Has practically a full wall and has an extra Nexus. Like, he's literally ahead in every single thing. He's gonna take out the pylon down here, throws down a robotics facility as he realizes what's coming his way. And I think if herO would want to save everyone's time, I would not necessarily be opposed to this. You know what I'm saying? Guys, like, I know that you know. Like I'm not going to win this game with Dark Templar. I can leave this game. We can go into game number 1, you know? Have a good time in game number 2. Have a very good time. As we now see... I mean, it is just ridiculous, right? That Classic moves across the map while being on 2 base. That is just insane to me. He wins game number 1 here against herO after a pretty terrible all-in out of the Blue Protoss player. Now, that first game was a real good example of sometimes the things that are wrong with herO. And I think the reason for his inconsistency... If you think of a lot of the other top players, like if you're thinking of Maru, if you're thinking of herO, your Rainers, like these guys, they play very kind of consistent early game StarCraft 2. Like they have a solid and safe setup, and they say, hey, if you throw something at me, I'm going to be ready for it. I'm going to respond. I'm going to have better mechanics. I'm going to have better unit control, and that's how I win. Now, herO has all of these things, you know, has his insane mechanics, has his insane micro, brilliant decision making. But instead of playing safe and solid in the early game, he'll do some truly idiotic stuff. I personally love watching herO because of it, but it does feel like that sometimes it hurts him. Like that last game builder, there was a little bit debatable. Like Classic's response was extremely underwhelming, in my opinion. He opened up with an Adept, which he practically lost. He didn't full wall. His second battery was late. Hell, his first battery was late. Like, this was probably one of the worst possible defenses that he could have gone for. And he was completely fine. Like, the game wasn't even close. And that really makes me doubt whether that build order is really viable. And, well, it doesn't make me doubt. It makes me believe that build order is completely unviable. That is something typically herO, where he'll just throw stuff at you, and then he'll see what sticks. And this definitely it did not stick, okay? It did not stick at all. These probes are... Oh my god, you can't be serious. This is what I call the fog of war illusion. So what happened here is that Classic scouted this area with his scouting probe. Then when looking on the map where to look for the proxy, he forgot that he checked this area, but he checked it before the pile and the gateway. Actually, it just insta finds it. You can't be serious. That's such a good thing here for Classic. That helps so much. Good control as well out of Classic so far. Actually getting the edge in this trade so far. Look at that. That one Stalker is fairly low. Now Stalker 3 and 4 come in as well. I'm not saying he's going to be capable of taking out this pylon, but I think he might be capable of taking out that first Stalker. This pylon also could be in a little bit of trouble. One free Stalker here. That is a pretty big deal. If we can get this down, that would be absolutely huge. We'll take out this pylon. As now Adept comes in, we'll take out 2 Stalkers, maybe even 3 Stalkers. Classic here. I mean, he got a good trade. Killed, what, 1 Adept, 1 Stalker, lost 2 Stalkers, but he also took out the pylon. Now 2 more of his own Stalkers are going to end up finish up, and this Adept goes down. herO is in a world of trouble. Well, he's dead. herO is absolutely dead at this point. Has no power on this gateway, will not be capable of powering this gateway, is following this up with a 1-base Disruptor drop, while Classic is getting his own Prism already. There's going to be a Stalker lead here for Classic. There is a Worker lead here for Classic. There's literally everything that is good here for Classic. What does herO have? He has 2 Adepts. They're going to pop into a Prism most likely. But so will these bad boys. So will these bad boys. Now, usually against a Disruptor, against a RoboBay, the response is to go for a Stargate. I wonder if that's going to be the same case here. I don't actually think so. Third case does end up finishing up here for Classic, as the double Adepts are going in and might be capable of getting a couple of worker kills. That would be quite nice. Classic does spot all of this. Now starts moving forward. It's going to be 5-6 worker kills here if he isn't careful. That's what, number 4? Might actually have been number 5 already. There's no Nexus here, which is kind of what Classic was hoping for. There's a Disruptor on the way. That shot is going to be kind of huge. It needs to hit something, and it doesn't. Next Warpin is... it's going to help herO out a lot, but there's a battery on the high ground here. As the gateways are being beaten up. I think 2 more Adepts just got warped in, no? Yeah. First 2 have fallen. That's a lot of workers that are going down, and herO, despite a pretty poor start here, is actually making things work. Pylon staying alive for now. So we have an Immortal on the way as well behind all of this. Is there enough? Yep, there's enough for a super battery. We see 58 energy and he hasn't used it, so it's not on cooldown. I mean, once this Immortal was out, I do believe that... I don't think the game is over, but the game is very favorable here for herO. He's going to have better tech. He has speed on this Prism. And he also has better units, in my opinion. Like, his current army is already better. And that's just going to continue because he has that Robo Bay. He can deal damage with the Speed Prism and the Disruptor on the other side of the map. He can use it defensively. Like, he can literally do whatever the heck he wants. I kind of dig that, honestly. I kind of dig that. Imagine a Speed Prism with 2 Immortals as well. That is a lot of power in a Prism. And it's going to be difficult to catch without a Stargate, without a Twilight Council. Neither of these buildings are here for Classic. So Classic, despite being up in supply right now, is in a world of trouble. Absolute world of trouble. Observer does spot everything that's happening here. We'll see that this... Oh. Might try and go for a catch here on that Prism. The Prism is looking for some Stalkers. At the same time, on the other side of the map, 4 Stalkers are trying to go in towards the main base. Probably waiting for this army to kind of move out. This is like a complete mirror of both players doing nothing. One probe over here. I think these Stalkers might come in with a flank, honestly. Okay, here we go. It's going to be 2 probes. 1. Maybe 3, actually. Oh, it might be 3. 3 probes. Everything stays alive. Nice. I'd rather kill 3 probes. Why would you warp in right in front of a Disruptor? That's so risky. Are you serious? Bad positioning here as well. Oh, only kills 2 probes with it. Could have gotten a lot worse. Needs to pre-split his army here. It's really important to have it in multiple locations because you can't go around chasing a Speed Prism with a Disruptor in it. That's a recipe for disaster. Nexus is going to be thrown down here for herO. At the same time, he decides to move out. What's this Disruptor doing? Oh, no. Loses the Prism. Loses the Prism. What a rookie move. What a rookie move. Nexus not going to end up dying. Absolutely not even close. Meh. Not sure why you would do this. As, oh. Look at this. He's gonna catch half of the army. What is this? What is this doing here? Just having a blast outside or something? Okay, he's gonna lose a lot of Stalkers. 4 Stalkers and a Sentry go down. For a second I started believing in Classic, but now I don't believe anymore. There's 4 Immortals against 3. There's a new Prism on the way. Still a Prism up here as well. Uh-oh. That could cost herO a couple of workers. He's not really in a good defensive spot here. Target... What is he? Is he shooting the Assimilator? That's not great. Might be you just target down probes, not the Stalkers, surely. No, it's gonna go for the Stalkers. There's a battery back here. There's more Stalkers coming in. Killed absolutely nothing. These Immortals are now looking for some kills. Are gonna get caught in the middle of the map. This was so risky. Both players just leaving random groups of units somewhere on the map to be caught for the opponent. Now, there is 1 Disruptor out. I almost want to say that I would have preferred another Immortal. But... because with a Disruptor, you only have 1 shot. And if you don't connect... Oh. Yeah, then all of a sudden that Disruptor does absolutely nothing for you. Another Immortal has consistent damage output. However, the army is just way too big here for herO, I think. This isn't even close. This isn't even close at all. 13 workers killed really helps for herO, of course, as he has the Nexus, he has the bigger army. Without a battery, he's going to be just fine. Second Purification Nova is going to hit in a big way. GG gets called, and the series is all tied up. Round 3. Fight. As we have Royal Blood here. herO starting with a pylon in the main base. It is one of the things that I see happen quite often. Like, I'll see this on the ladder, I'll see this on people's streams, when I'm watching my YouTube videos or watching any type of replay, and I've never quite understood it. I don't actually understand what the purpose of this is. It gives you very little extra minerals. It makes it so much harder against any type of opener. Like, it is not just the early adepts. right, that are easier to hold with a wall. But it's the adepts that come at the 3-minute mark when you already have that natural, that come at the 4-minute mark when you already have that natural, that come at the 7-minute mark when you already have your third base going up. Like, the ability to wall out adepts out of at least one of your bases is a freaking huge deal in this matchup. The adept is the bane of every Protoss player's existence. Ooh, this is nice. Fake proxy pylon. Moves back to a different location. Look at the movement of the probe here. Okay? Look at the movement of the probe. Comes from a different angle than where the pylon is from. And he waits. Now, why does he wait? It's because tech cannot go down before the 2-minute mark. Cybernetics core finishes at 1:59 or the 2-minute mark. So if your probe comes into your opponent's main base at the 2-minute mark, you know that it can't be a real proxy. However, if you enter at 2 minutes and 16 seconds, that gives the information to Classic here that the proxy structure is within 16 seconds of range of his main base, right? Because the probe still needed to walk there. So that gives Classic an area to look around of 16 seconds. It's probably till about over here. Here, like this type of view is a little bit fast, a little bit ugly, I'm sorry. We're working this type of angle. This pylon is placed outside of that range. So this is a perfect fate. It's not very difficult to do, but it's important that you do it right when you play it. Now, the opener here is going to be an adept. Classic spotted this opener. I was like, okay, I want to play adept. And I freaking love this follow-up here out of herO. And oh my god, this was a bait. This entire build was a massive bait. Classic is just getting read like a freaking book over here by herO. So herO gave him 2 incentives to open up with adept here. And let me tell you what those ones were. So first of all, he didn't open up with a full wall. So the Protoss brain, like the monkeys that we are, you know, we go, ooh, that's great, no wall. I build adept, and you build an adept because you want to shade in. But on top of that, you know that there's a proxy, and the safest play against a proxy that is unknown to you as to what the proxy is to open up with an Oracle. Oracle is very gas heavy, so in order to get that Stargate quicker, what do you open up with? Adept. Who made that read? herO made that read. And as a result, these 2 adepts shade in, he has 4 Stalkers ready, kills those adepts without taking any damage at all. Well, now the adept 3 and 4 he wasn't quite ready for, and actually takes a significant amount of damage here. That's actually kind of sad there. This was such a brilliant little trick of the mind. I really did enjoy that. I think that was so smart here by herO. Really good understanding of how people think in this matchup. How people think against a player that's as risky as herO. Sadly, still at I'm not sure if he's actually at a deficit here or what exactly is going on. It's hard for me to say. I wonder what this is going to be. Is he going to build a Nexus here? 2 Oracles are going in towards the main base. 12 workers are left remaining. Oh no. herO taking a lot of damage. And now Classic knows. He's like, wait a second. I just killed freaking 11 workers. All I need to do is not die. He builds a 3rd battery here. Force field is going to connect, takes out one of these Stalkers, another Stalker pretty far into the red, but the batteries will make sure that it stays alive. The double Oracle squad is going back in once more. There's 4 Stalkers in position though. Still should be capable of getting at least 1 worker kill. Oh, he dives too deep. He's gonna lose an Oracle because of that. Tried to get for a 2nd kill and lost an Oracle. That makes this threat so much less here coming out of Classic. If you have the 2 Oracles, you're gonna need to leave 3-4 Stalkers at home the entire time. Versus 1 Oracle, not so much. Not so much at all. I don't think you should go back in here, Classic. I don't think you should. I think it's time to wait right now, buddy. We still have this probe over here. I'd love to see some type of secondary tech. There we go. We have the robotics facility out of Classic. But it almost feels like herO is doing okay in this game. It really does almost feel like that. Yes, he's still down 7 workers. And that's bad. It genuinely is very bad because you don't have full saturation. But at the same time, We still have this type of... Oh, it's going to be a Nexus at the gold. I mean, this is just such a freaking risky move. Like, this is almost crazy risky. You know that? Oh, wow. It actually kind of hurts with how risky it is. The reason why I say this is so risky is because you're working at a map control disadvantage here as Classic. You have an eco advantage, but a map control disadvantage. You opted to go for a robotics facility opener. You're playing against someone with a Prism and a Twilight Council. So these are two things that make it difficult to spread out, move across the map, and have, you know, be present at multiple locations. The moment this base gets spotted, this base is dead, okay? So the only way you're going to undo something like this... Well, actually, the Void Ray helps a lot against the Prism, let me tell you that. For starters. Oh, lost the second Oracle. Oh, that's really painful. So in my opinion, what you... Oh, no, not that pylon. Let me try that sentence one more time. In my opinion... Oh, my God. Stasis Sword. Okay, third time's the charm. Now, in my opinion, what you want to be doing here is you want to fake. You want to fake an all-in here. I don't think you want to take this Nexus. I actually don't think you do. Even if you believe you do, I don't think you do. What you want to do is you want to get your Prism out and you move across the map. And you get absolutely nothing over here. That is what you want to do. And you contain your opponent on two bases. You pretend to go in there. You have an army that is big enough that it can't be jumped upon. You have enough units. Don't worry about that. I think building a Nexus here is going to enable herO to get out on the map and do things. So I think this is the correct call. I love this. I think this is a good play. Now, this is still fairly unfortunate because there is a pylon here, and a double Adept Warping could really just ruin the entire concept of what Classic is trying to do over here. Just the entire thought. Yeah, we're seeing a triple Adept Warp in here. There is no wall anymore. He did start with a wall, but now he's stuck without one. I think this is going to cost him... He doesn't have a recall available. Well, in that case, it's going to cost him a bunch of workers here. This is going to cost him 7, 8, 9, 10 workers. Does pull immediately, but the workers escape, or the Adepts escape. My apologies, misspoke there. Immortal starts chasing. At the same time, we have a fight here. He's committing very hard into this. Now, I was specifically talking about a contain. I don't think you actually need to commit to this play at all. Do you? I don't think that's very necessary. I think once you have the contain and you pretend that it isn't working, that's when you get your own Nexus. Because then the Protoss player here will feel so far ahead. And they don't want to break the contain. They're like, oh, I'm outmining you anyway. Why would I want to care about breaking the contain? But now he's lost a lot of units. I'm not sure if he can keep up this contain no more. It's actually kind of scary here. We do have a Twilight Council on the way. We have 2 more gates as well coming out of Classic here. Once again, wants to poke in here. Does not have the count of units though. He does not. He's going to lose the Prism. That means that 1 Immortal is going to go down. 65 supply against 56. Super Battery can be activated. No, it can't be. Oh, every single Immortal has gone down. And that means now it's going to be Blink against no Blink. And that is not a fight you want to fight. If you're a Classic here, is a recall available? No, it's not. He's going to lose every single Stalker right now. Every single Stalker will just end up going down. And now there's full map control on the side of herO. This is such a painful situation here. Such a painful situation. Technically, economically, we're still very far ahead. The ability to build that 4th base, or the 3rd base, is probably still here, honestly. But herO, I think, realized what's going on. Look at this. He's like, hey, wait a second, buddy. Yeah. He made the read. Of course he made the read. He's herO. He's the greatest Protoss player. Takes out this battery, and now, yeah, now you can defend it. Now you can defend it. If 2 Oracles were still alive, this type of move out would be a lot harder, but both Oracles ended up dying. Charge is on the way. These probes are trying to escape. I mean, if they escape, that's nice, but it's not going to be good enough. They're going to be outmined for quite a while. I like the play out of Classic. I think this is the only thing he can really do, is try to go for a base trade, hope there's no recall available, right? If you can trade your 3rd base for your opponent's natural, that's going to be a very good trade. But that's not going to be possible either. There's not enough units here. He's going to be pushed back. At the same time, we have this one adept still being very annoying on the other side of the map. There's plenty of cash for herO. He can warp in more on this pylon if he wants to. Don't forget, this is still an army without blink, and that means that every blink forward is potentially very dangerous. Immortal does turn around, trying to get a couple of hits off, as I think this game might just be over right now. Prism is going to end up falling. Immortal will go down, and herO is going to qualify here for GSL Season 2 2023, adding his name to the long list of other players already, and manages to make it. This looked good for Classic though, and herO definitely looking quite vulnerable in this particular matchup. Very vulnerable actually, because it wasn't clean. It really wasn't clean in none of the games. But this is going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy this GSL qualifier match. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.